Good day, Internet! I hope you're all ready and your souls have been, what's the word, Atin? Girded? Grinded?
I
Girdered?
mean, it depends on what you're looking for. Girded, I suppose.
Grit your souls, my dudes, because we're diving straight on into some absolute cancer. I'm Sneaky Devil, and this is Fanfiction, Contempt 9001.
Why did you suddenly become Southern?
It's just what happens when Max is in here enough.
Well, Max will be, like we said, Max will be joining us later.
So what you're saying is I should have the southern accent until Max joins.
What I'm saying is you should stop it from saying that you're streaming Pillars of Eternity Deadfire.
That would be a good guy. That would be smart. See, you know, I was forgetting something. Why, Isley, Bake, you had the opportunity to tell me before this began, and you sat there laughing at me.
To be fair, you deserve it.
I mean, yeah, sort of. Talk shows. Writing? What did I typically put it as? Salty writing and something else usually. Talk shows.
You'd think I'd pay attention. The only reason I paid attention to that was because Twitch helpfully informed me that you're streaming Pillars of Eternity Deadfire.
Yes, Atin is personally offended by Wincest. So please do not mention that in his presence, or he will have to reprimand you as close as he can get.
Personally offended by it?
Yes.
Where do you get that?
By the tentacles that you are currently sprouting.
What? You...
Anyway, meme review.
How many drinks already are you in?
Well, I mean, I got home early.
Oh,
so, as always, do not contact any of the people we feature in this here stream. Because that's bad and against the rules and stuff. Your content must follow our guidelines. I'm pretty sure my content does follow your guidelines, Twitch. Why are you telling me about this now? You must not break the law. You must not evade suspension. You must not do any sort of thing such as suicidal threats, cut yourself, or use illegal drugs on the stream. You may not threaten or hurt others, either physically, digitally, or emotionally. Do not at any point in time promote discrimination, objectification, or harassment based on race, ethnicity, religion, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, disability, medical condition, physical characteristics, or veteran status. Okay, well, good thing we tell you guys not to do any of those.
honestly, it could be summed up with don't be an asshole.
I mean, it could be summed up, but sometimes it does need to be explicitly laid out.
You're right, which is why we've done it here, and why we'll continue to do it at the beginning of every show.
Don't do porn. I mean, I'm pretty sure we can handle that pretty well. Wait, hold on a second. They just added a new section about performance acts. Performances of pre-existing work require you have all appropriate rights to share the content. Yep, actually, that's why we use fanfiction.net. Because of their content regulations. Anyway. Let's leave a review. Sneaky told us not to do this, so we all did this. The hell is age disability? I mean, I don't know, man.
I think that's like, oh, don't make fun of the old person who, like, can't feed themselves because they're severely arthritic.
I guess, yeah.
Arthritic? Is that a word?
Arthritic.
Severe, because they have severe arthritis. Whatever.
Yeah, severe arthritis probably would be better. Alright, so this is Gamer Girl.
Oh, good. This is what we're starting with.
Yeah, boy! So, back in the action with the Ruby stories. Now, I believe this was dropped on me by Zeeks, I believe. Zeeks or someone else.
I blame Zeeks for this then.
We can all blame Zeke's anyway. After a freak accident during the breach, Blake finds herself facing the impossible. Her semblance has been altered into something calling the gamer. With levels, quests, and bosses to master, she has little recourse but to enlist the aid of the school's resident gaming expert, John Ark. Will Blake be able to take on fearsome odds in the mantle of the gamer girl? I mean, I could insert here joke about casual gaming and phone and Candy Crush, but, you know, that'd be low-hanging fruit. Anything to say, Ann?
Not particularly.
Alright, let's keep going. Things looked bleak. Surrounded by Ursay, Beowulfs, and a large King Taijutsu, Team Ruby was trapped in the center of the town pavilion, with more Grim pouring in from
What
the
did you
derelict.
just say?
Grim?
No. Town what?
Pavilion?
It's pavilion.
I'm aware.
That
Pouring in from the derelict Mountain Glen tunnel by the second. Something wrong with that sentence, but I'm gonna let it pass. As Yang would have put it, there was literally no brakes! I get it, cause it's a train!
I mean, it is a terrible pun on the level of Yang.
Being that they just crashed through several subterranean chambers on a hell-bent bomb train. We're really getting no breaks today, aren't we? Yang mumbled besides Blake, causing the adrenaline-filled cat girl beside her to raise a brow. And somehow, I just knew you would say something like that, Blake flatly replied. Replied flatly. My bad for trying to proper English this. Yang,
Yeah.
if those are the last words you ever say, I roar! Then interrupted by the battle.
And
roar.
interrupted.
Yes.
And
interrupted.
interrupted. Let's be clear.
Yes, because what's proper English? Interrupted by the battle roar of the massive reptilian Grim, the melee began. The winged Crimsonette leader found herself facing the giant Grim itself, her teammates running to her aid, her sister being the first and fastest to close the gap, of course. No, Blake is faster than Yang. Whatever. Yang took the aerial approach, only to be slammed out of the sky by 3 Nevermores, which kept her busy. Blake and Weiss, however, were unfortunately held back on ground level by a massive pack of Beowulfs that placed themselves between them. We must work our way around the pack where their numbers dwindle, Weiss exclaimed as she slashed 3 offending Grim with a crystalline blade conjured by her ice glyphs. We won't be able to reach Ruby on time otherwise.
Alright, so I feel like this is someone who doesn't have any idea how to write Weiss, which I get, not understanding how to write characters, but like, this is like season 1, day 1 Weiss.
Mountain Glen Weiss that's the start of season 2, right?
I think, yeah.
Because season 1 was the dock scene that ended with Cinder showing up.
Yeah.
And season 2
but
was
but here's the
Glen.
thing, even by the end of season 1, the metaphorical stick had gone pretty far out of her ass.
Yes. Yeah.
And even when she did have
Joke
a giant
was
stick up
saying-
her ass, she wouldn't say something like, "We must work our way around the pack where their numbers dwindle." Like, she's not someone who doesn't know how to speak. She's just someone who speaks, quote unquote, properly. Like like Sneaky, like the two things she actually says here. Would you ever see her saying those things, even in season 1?
I mean, no. It's very awkward and stilted. And the thing is I could see, like, generic Noble saying this.
Yeah.
But, like, Weiss specifically got taught how to sing and be a celebrity and shit. Because, she had a rich dad. So she got, like, tutors on how to speak to crowds and speak to other people.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't see her saying stuff like that. Maybe more like,
here's the thing.
we have to cut our way through them. We won't be able to help Ruby otherwise.
Yeah, or even we should go around. We should, we need to go around to the back where there's less.
Hello,
of them. We
Moxie.
won't be able to get to Ruby on time.
Hi.
Excellent, Max. We need you to read this and tell us if you agree with us. We must work our way around the pack where their numbers dwindle. We won't be able to reach Ruby on time otherwise. Now, who do you think the authors had say that?
Gandalf.
Yes. No.
Nailed it.
Weiss.
That doesn't sound like Wise. That sounds like Gandalf. I'm sorry, but
Now, that does have another shitpost brewing. Just replace Weiss with Gandalf.
Gandalf the Weiss?
Yes, exactly. Oh, no, Sneaky. Gandalf the Schnee.
Well, Gandalf the Snow? No, Weiss is literally white in German.
Yeah, I know.
you're ruining
Anyway.
the good joke. Stop it.
The good
No.
joke was Gandalf the Weiss.
You're right.
Your
and
joke
I wanted
is
to kill
poor.
your joke because I don't like your joke.
Yeah, well, I don't like
What?
your joke.
And that's fine.
Oof.
Luckily, my joke killed itself, so I beat you to it.
I was more of the impression from one of the captains of Dynasty Warriors. I don't know, Max, can you confirm that?
I haven't played a Dynasty Warriors game outside of Gundam.
That was
mean-
kind of boring.
I was gonna say the closest I've gotten to a Dynasty Warriors is Hyrule Warriors.
I mean, I thought you.
But that one- But that game is good.
Like,
Oh,
I
no,
was
Hyrule
gonna
Warriors is
say-
fantastic. Fantastic soundtrack.
Also, I don't think Blake would ever respond to something with "on it" unless it was Blake, get that lever or something. It was like, I think Blake would be like, here, like, right, or let's go.
Yeah.
Or,
Yes, Double Spidey, Dynasty Warriors is still a thing,
howdy,
but
Doc.
they are doing their best to kill it. Actively.
Yeah.
No, we're not going down the Dynasty Warriors hole. That's not what we're here for.
No,
Blake
no,
Knowledge!
we're not gonna go down that. God, no.
Why is that
But
a separate
like,
paragraph?
Jim Sterling loves that series, and he's angry with how
I'm
they've been
talking
handling
about
the
Jim
most recent
Sterling.
game.
To be fair, anyone whoever even remotely liked it would be angry with how they handled the last game, and that's all we're gonna say on it.
Shut the fuck up, both of you. Let's get back to bed, fanfiction. Blake nodded with her acknowledgement before
Oh,
running.
so we can go back to Dynasty Warriors.
Fuck you!
Actually, yeah, you're not wrong. That would be technically historical fan fiction.
Max, I'm aware.
Oh.
That's why I made the joke.
By the way, this story so far doesn't seem bad. It just seems weirdly written.
Yes. Blake nodded with her acknowledgement before running another Beowulf.
Nodded with her acknowledgement.
Nodded, as opposed to nodding with her unacknowledgement. Before
Even
running
that
another
phrase-
Beowulf through the
even that
chest.
phrase, nodded with her acknowledgement. Like, the with shouldn't be there.
Through the
Like, the entire
chest with
thing's fine, you
Gamble's
just take out with.
shroud. You done?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Its dark, misty life force pouring out from the crack in its bony armor. Gamble's shroud piercing the bone armor with a
Actually, I
slash.
think we've... Not with a slash, maybe a stab. I think we've seen it done with a stab. don't know so much about Slash.
As she pulled out and made her way to the side of the pavilion. Things couldn't end this way. Blake had finally found a team she truly appreciated, in a home she valued for both its ideals and virtue, and wouldn't let herself lose the friends she loved to these soulless creatures of darkness. So that was a 3-line sentence. Every slash, every strike, and every stab from the agile cat faunus, delivered mercilessly and with the deadly precision that only an experienced fighter with years of combat training under her belt could muster as she kept her red-hooded target in sight. Crash! Breaking through the wall behind her of a seemingly high-end clothing store, another Beowulf ambushed Blake, who barely had the chance to turn and shadow vault away as the beast decapitated her hollow copy. Hello, Captain. Use the dust rounds I gave you! Weiss managed to yell from several yards away before she could
Calvin,
heard.
this is a Ruby story.
Yeah, this is Ruby, mate. Before she could be heard nor seen no more than the growing horde of gaunt killer creatures. Wait,
Like,
fucking,
what?
what the shit is that? Managed to yell from several yards away before she could be heard nor seen no more through the growing horde of gaunty killer creatures between them.
Boy, somebody busted out their $10 words, and congratulations, you mangled the English language.
You might want to get a refund on that thesaurus, mate.
Because technically, the sentence you have made is a correct sentence, and it conveys
English
the meaning it needs to. However, Sneaky, what's wrong here?
It's painful to read and says about 10 times more words than it needs to say. Literally just Weiss managed to yell between the throng of Grimm between them, or something like that. If you really need to mention that there's a shit ton of Grimm, yeah.
I was gonna say, managed to make herself heard through the horde of like, there's 70 different ways to say that without busting out purple prose and annoying your audience.
There's 99 ways to say that, and this ain't one.
Boo.
Thank you. I will be here all night.
Well, he's gonna wait. Well, we're gonna wake up to a headline of him being dead if he's gonna be there all night.
I think it'll be alcohol poisoning. What do you think?
That's what I'm betting on.
I know, I clicked the wrong button. Brave, don't do it. Brave, don't do it.
What the fuck is that supposed to?
I have been pinged in. Oh.
I don't. Is that supposed to be
Why?
like sexy Gandalf or?
Why
Yes.
make? Why have you
Okay.
done this?
Because
To be fair,
Why?
I very much doubt it was Baker who did that. He just found it.
I'd make a full stop after yards away and start a new sentence. I mean, you make a good point. I'll give you that.
The point is, there are many other ways to write that sentence without it being stupid.
Yeah. Right, of course! The tired, raven-haired girl half mumbled. Half chimed. So she mumbled it. How do you mumble an exclamation? Right, of course.
I mean, like, I guess you could be.
you
Like,
can.
the only way I could think of mumbling an exclamation was like. Exclamation was like beat your tongue or something.
You just sound constipated then.
Well,
Yes.
No, you can mumble an exclamation because of how that actually works. But the issue is people usually save exclamations for when yelling or shouting is involved. It's very rare
That's
to.
kind of the point of the exclamation point.
Yeah, well, it can also be used when you're trying to get across like surprise or something. Though
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
I'm willing
yeah,
to put
but
that
it's
down to video
generally
games
things
being
that
the
are
fault.
loud.
Yeah,
and
I know,
noticeable.
Atin. The exclamation thing is a thing of surprise. I'm going to blame on video games because the first time I ever started seeing that was in Metal Gear, way back when.
Dun, 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 dun,
Basically,
dun,
we can
dun,
blame
dun,
Kojima,
dun.
I think.
Dun 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 dun.
I mean, yeah. I you know what? We'll blame Kojima for that one, along with giving Norman Reedus weird ideas about what video games are.
Half chided herself for being too fatigued to recall the valuable weapon her teammate had presented her before boarding the train, and arming her rounds embedded in the hilt of Gamble's shroud.
The magazine is not embedded in there. And there are no spare rounds on the outside Gamble Shroud as far as I can tell.
No, it's not. She's not arming the gun, and even then, that wouldn't be the proper way to say that. She's arming the rounds like they're fucking bombs.
Like I could understand if she had to chamber one.
But even then, you wouldn't use arming. Now instead of hungry beasts, I read hungry breasts. Okay.
What did I miss?
Blake began to open fire on the Beowulfs.
No.
That's an improper term of Beowulfs. It is an O, not a U. I actually checked. Canonically, it is O.
What about canonically?
Beowulfs. It's not. There's no U. It's an O instead of a U. For the plural of Beowulf. I checked
Neat.
last night when I was writing the same thing.
Why did you have to look that up?
Because I used the U.
And he doesn't want to be wrong. That he can yell at other people for being wrong.
Exactly.
No, why did you use the U?
Because I'm typically wrong?
Snakey, I want you to think about this. It's a Beowulf with an O as in the animal, not Beowulf with a U as in Beowulf with Grendel.
Look,
You're aware of this, right? No,
Look,
you're aware of
mate.
this, right? There is no such
Look,
thing.
mate.
Beowulf does
Look,
not have a
mate.
plural.
What if you have a time-traveling Beowulf who's come back in time to slay Grendel?
I think the author would cry. Like, no, I don't want to do this now.
Why is our chat talking about breast vor?
What the fuck?
Wait, what?
Our chat's fucking weird, man. Every bullet flaming, crackling, and hissing, Oxford comma, with energy as they tore through the abysmal hides of the savage monsters around her, before activating her slew of elemental shadow clones to add to her repertoire of attacks.
Okay, so first of all, the author clearly meant to say abyssal, which also isn't right, but it's better than...
Well, I mean, no, abyssal hides referring to how black they are makes sense.
Hold on, let me...
Abyssal is a color of black. Inky blackness, you know, that sort of... I'd like to think it doesn't do anything.
Actually, I don't think abyssal is a color of black.
No, it can be used as a description in place of black.
I've never seen it like that, though. Anywhere. Like, I've seen, like, a black abyssal blade, but I've never seen abyssal in place of black.
Max, do me a favor, look up abyssal, because I apparently can't spell today.
I got it. Relating to or denoting the depth of the bed of the ocean. Another term for plutonic. Dictionary.com, help me out here. Of or relating to, of or like an abyss, immeasurable, unfathomable.
Guys,
no.
you cannot use the...
No.
Oh no, don't worry. I infuriated Kelm yesterday by, what was the word I used? Waggle. Definition. Ah, shit. Fucking Google, help me out here.
Wait, are you looking up the definition of waggle?
Here we go. Waggle. The act of waggling. And he
Guys,
just
you
sat
can't
there
do that.
and was like, seriously? The act of waggling.
Look, here's the thing. This is gonna be a rare case of me agreeing with him. Because he's right. You can't do that, guys.
Anyway. Pow! Bang! Squeak! Apparently we're in a comic book now.
No, it's better. We're in 1950s campy Adam West Batman.
Indeed. What is this? A blue light. What does it do? It shines blue.
Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to think. Which member of Team Ruby would be Adam West?
Oh, well, fucking Yang, obviously.
You're right. Yang Xiaolong, as played by TV's Adam West.
I like 60s more than Batman Begins. Everyone has their opinions. Sometimes they're wrong. Anyway, so blah blah blah. She's exploded. Apparently, her clones are now explosive. Extremely so.
Max, I don't remember that one. Do you?
Which one?
Exploding clones?
Yes.
Apparently, she learned the art of clone explosion.
Yeah. If it's used with the fire, I think she can cause an explosion.
Electricity, ice.
No, I'm pretty sure if she uses it with flame dust, I think she can have an exploding clone.
I mean, yeah, her fire clone blew up like a boom.
Yeah. So she has them, but that is not just like a thing without the use of dust augmentation.
TNT! She's out of mind!
Don't you fucking start.
I mean, I could also sing Atom Bomb Baby.
You know what? I want to see someone take every known version of Dust we've seen so far, including...
Just make a giant grenade of it?
No, that's already been done.
Oh.
I want to see them take every known version we've seen. Like, theoretically, we've seen Gravity Dust and whatnot. And I want to see, like, how does Gravity affect her semblance? What happens? What does it leave behind?
Max, she just turns into, what's that video game? Gravity Rush?
She just turns into Kate?
Yeah.
Her cat? She just turns into Cat?
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Poor Cat would be so like, you're not a clone. You're just this sentient being that has been summoned here. Oh, dear.
No, I'm just imagining someone stabbing her, and it's like, what? My sword's getting sucked in. It's just a fucking black hole. Just like, ah!
What have you done?
Why would you do this? So that's what happens when you use too much gravity dust.
That gives Amity Coliseum crashing much more disturbing implications.
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, yeah.
Oh,
know.
Hey,
no.
Max, guess what we have to bring up in season 3 now?
So, where do we keep the gravity dust stored? Why would you two need that? The less we tell you, the better off you'll be.
Well, I mean, we can give you horrifying, mind-rending descriptions of what might happen if it's all stored in one spot. What would be the problem with? Oh,
Are you familiar with the
God.
idea of singularities? Hmm.
Indeed. Had Black Canary's face stitched to his chest. What the fuck is going on in our chat?
What the?
What the fuck is wrong
What?
with people?
What the fuck? What? What the hell is going on?
I don't know. Blah blah. The friend trying to locate their prey. Blake checked the distance between her and the leader. They were standing in the doorway. Weiss's plan had gone quite well. The
Scared of our
young and
chat
reckless
sometimes.
Beowulf was confused enough between who to choose that by the time they chose who to attack, they fell as easy prey to young huntresses in training. One more reason to respect the reformed. Yeah, the reformed Harris, who had come such a long way from the beginning of the school year. Sure,
I'm sorry,
she
hang
still
on.
had
Did you
rough
say
edges.
terrorist or terrorist?
I think they
Harris.
meant terrorists.
No,
No, what did they wrote
Harris.
terrorists?
no. Heir.
Oh, heiress.
Huh. Huh. I mean,
I believe it's whom to attack. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I think fanfiction is shit. Change my mind.
This is not the show for that.
I'll join you at that table.
uh,
I can make a day of it. We'll order pizza. Get you.
Yo, by
extra.
the way, so because Max won't be, you can't pay Max enough to get into a maid costume. $5,000 will get you pizza day with Max.
Quite.
You're cool with that, right, Max?
What have you been discussing behind my
We're
back?
selling you.
I did not agree to this.
We're selling you in the same way we sold ourselves.
I don't know how you think that equates. Like, no, I did not give permission for this.
That's okay. We did it without your consent because we're your managers.
You're not my managers. I didn't sign shit.
Yeah, you did. It was a verbal contract. You should have read the fine print.
I never had a verbal contract.
I'm saving that one for future use.
What? It was a verbal contract. You should have read the fine print.
Yes.
Cunts.
By picking up the phone, you have agreed to the following.
Wait, what? No! In an
Uh,
actual court, that would be thrown out as completely unreasonable, but...
Oh yeah, no, it would. Like I learned about a year and a half ago. Like most EULAs are not really.
Oh, they are
enforceable in court.
hilariously invalid.
Yeah, because it's like, well, no, you can't do this. Why? Because this is borderline extortion. You're saying they can't play the service that you provided that they already paid you for if they don't agree to this? Like, no, it's wrong. Another big thing of fuck you, Rockstar, for not knowing how to run an online community. I'm never letting that
we
go.
detected you're playing Discord. You have been banned, and all your things have been removed. Thank you very much. See you in a month.
They never saw us again.
Yep.
Since we lost our characters anyways, how hard should we try and break that?
I'm gonna be
Are there any
fairly
fun
easy.
mods?
Oh, don't you two start, please.
Alright, let's see. Blah, 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 blah. We love her so much. Blah, blah, blah. Icy comrade. Blah, blah, blah. Sprinting to Ruby. Blah, blah, blah. Now, good to slash! Roaring pain immediately shot through her arm as the alpha Beowulf cut it off. No, I'm just kidding. Her aura
Yeah,
deflected
we know.
enough
We
of
can
the
read
blow
too.
that would have taken her limb clean off, if not worse. What's worse than having the limb cut off?
I don't know, have it get like 3/4 cut off, so you're just left with a dangling meat stump.
I mean, I guess. But as Blake shadow vaulted herself out of the Alpha's reach, and wait, they keep saying shadow vaulted. Is that a thing Blake does?
I mean, she makes like a shadow clone and jumps away.
The way that her semblance initially manifests in the show, it appears to actively like turn her intangible for a split second. But we don't have any. I don't have confirmation on that myself. I have no way of actually knowing.
Yep. Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of run-on sentences at this point. There's no real point in commenting on them.
Yeah.
Honestly, we'll just point out the bits of grammar that are completely and utterly nonsensical.
Like how many sentences he starts with the fucking and. A lot of them. He started paragraphs with the word and. Don't! No!
I mean, you can start paragraphs with the word "and." Proper English doesn't like it, but proper English can
Yes,
take a kick to the
proper
balls
English
in creative writing.
Start. Yes.
It frequently does.
Blah 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 blah. Her eyes widened at the damage the heartless monster had caused to her weapon. Really? So the aura blocked the attack on her arm, but it managed to shred steel that was infused.
Yep.
The aura. Okay. Sure thing, boss.
Okie dokie,
Gamble!
okay, sir.
No! The Alpha's claw had not only managed to slice through the girl's arm. Okay, apparently it did.
I thought
cut
she
through her
didn't
arm,
lose the arm.
but had torn open a hole in Gamble Shroud's hilt, which was held in her injured hand. Excuse me? And along the trail of blood was now pouring down her quickly healing arm was now shining trails of every dust that Weiss had given her. Just inside the hilt? The mixture seeping in quickly.
Okay, so, like, fire dust was volatile enough that literally being sneezed on activated it. I'm pretty sure globbing into a pile with every other form of dust imaginable would set it right off.
Coated in blood, and can't forget the part where it cut a hole through the metal, causing sparks likely.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
let's just ignore that part. No. The mixture seeped into her blood quickly. The raw dust within the weapon began to turn volatile as another pack of Beowulfs rapidly approached with the Alpha at the fore. She did the only thing she could. Toss the quickly overheating blade. Apparently, because the blade's overheating. What the fuck? Oh no, my ammo case has been punctured. The dust is leaking out. Ah! My blade's on fire!
Okay, I mean, with fire dust, that is, like, an actual legitimate problem.
I mean, yeah, but still, it's like...
Yeah, but I don't know. I'd have the moment of, oh, my sword's on fire. I could use this.
Also, generally speaking, as we've seen, with dust being ridiculously volatile, and as can be seen in real life when ammo boxes get hit, they don't, like, casually explode. Like, it gets hit and it explodes.
No, ammo boxes are more fun. Because then you get a cook-off.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, but the point is, it starts going off immediately, Max.
Yeah.
Like, the only time it gradually goes off is if, like, you're dumb. It's like, oh, the ammo box got hit. I'll get rid of it now. Because oh, it's too late, you're dead. You've lost an arm.
Yeah, it's too late. It's dead. I'm a good boy, Calvin. Boom.
Goodbye.
Crash. Going through the wall of glass into another shop with the force of an explosion, as opposed
The force of an explosion as compared to the force of a gentle spring breeze?
Blake was thrown through shelf after shelf of merchandise before landing forcefully against the back wall. Slumping down on the floor, Blake awoke after a hazy moment in and out of consciousness before surveying her situation. The explosion had unleashed a powerful force wind. What is it, a fucking Jedi? That thrown everything far back in cloud of crystalline and literal dust. She could tell the Beowulfs wouldn't dare come back anytime soon. How could she tell that?
Because clearly she's the Grim Whisperer now.
I mean, we can always read that one next.
No, please tell me you aren't serious.
Yeah.
God.
The explosion and blah 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 blah. Blake was surprised to see the blah 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 blah. Dust blah 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 blah. Except what's going on? Examining her numerous scratches and wounds closely, she was now bleeding. Laura. The look of awe in her eyes turned to a deadpan as she noticed what store she landed in. A gaming shack? Wow. She began as she slowly stood up with a grunt and looked around at the plentiful cartridges
Blake,
and disc
your
boxes
teammates are dying!
of the countless video games that cushioned her fall. The boys would get a kick out of this. And clambering out of the ruins of a GameStop, Blake looked out and couldn't hold back at a grin. The familiar voices above her. Nobody move! Junior detectives! We have badges, you know, so you know it's official. And glancing back at the battlefield, Blake sighed in relief.
So, hey, now that Gamble Shout is ruined, what do you think GameStop will value it at?
Oh, clearly around $20 store credit, or at least 2 cents in real money.
Of course.
Though she might have to pay $5 because of the damaged condition.
They gotta buff that out themselves, after all.
Yes. That was great. I went with my brother one time to sell our games, and he had a bunch of sports games, and some of them were scratched up. And I had like 10 games, and they came out to like $50-something. And he had like 30-something sports games, and it came out to like $3. And he's like, what? And he's like, and the GameStop employee is straight up just like, well, yeah, several of these are damaged, so we have to actually charge you money to fix them. And like, the sports games aren't really worth that much overall anyway.
Because, like, there's like a jillion of them, and no one likes them.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm sorry, I can't say no one likes them. They sell quite a bit. People like them, but the wrong kind of people like them.
Jocks.
The kind of people who don't realize how badly they're being taken advantage of by EA.
Jocks.
Not the jocks. Whatever will we do? What the?
Glancing around the battlefield, blah blah blah, Ruby was saved by Nora by a mighty Nora smash, as she had just called out before doing the deed, and the Atlesian cavalry was coming to the rescue along with Juniper and Beacon. And she was pretty sure she saw Coco kick a Beowulf in the groin.
That seems dumb, given that they don't have an anatomy like a human being's.
Hey Blake, I noticed you dropped your weapon. Seems like it really took a beating. Son now approached her with the blade of Gamble Shroud in his hand before looking. The blade that survived through the explosion that like sent everything flying. Okay. That was also overheating.
I see no problems here.
That was also overheating. You know. Isley. Isley, man. Isley. And
What is Isley doing?
Isley's being Isley.
Oh.
That tells us nothing.
You know
And
what?
wow, you really need to reconsider your wardrobe to avoid more malfunctions in the future. Glancing down at herself and noticing the large parts of her stockings were torn off and her scarf and vest were nowhere to be found, Blake snatched the weapon and crossed her arms in front of herself tightly to cover up the holes, only covering her
Oh,
torso.
good. Is this gonna turn into Max? What's that anime? The one with the fighting girls always losing their clothes?
Maybe.
Um,
Darkening of her cheeks.
Which one?
Right. Sekirei?
Yeah, Sekiro.
maybe
That's
probably
the one.
Sekiro.
At least you're okay. Alright, the Grimm are dead now. Neptune called out from behind Sun before taking a better look at the cat girl and widening his eyes at her surprisingly scanty attire. Well, that's something you don't see every day. At that, Blake's momentary shock quickly wore off into her signature peevish, snarky mood, though muted a bit by her still present awareness over her precarious situation. She furrowed her brows as her half-undone bow flattened on top of her head. Guys, would you please quit gawking at me? And she tried to immediately shadow vault herself away from the situation, but staggered back as her jump, which should have launched her several dozen feet into the air where the guys couldn't follow, was just a normal jump. You okay, Blake? Writing off the lack of resemblance activation as an after effect of the near-death experience and her intense embarrassment, Blake merely cast the boys her signature withering glare before using her signature flat command. Just get me back to my team and some clothes. A few minutes of stumbling around, awkward furtive glances, and a wardrobe change later, and Blake was reunited with her team on an overlook near the city beacon.
Okay.
In long purple basketball shorts and black hoodie. In long basketball shorts.
No. I mean, like I've had basketball shorts that were pretty long.
Yeah, as opposed to short basketball shorts. As far as I know, basketball shorts come in one size. Shorts.
Well, I mean, there are different cuts.
Not to my knowledge.
Like I've seen some that stopped well above the knees, and some that were below the knee.
There are short shorts and long shorts. Well, I guess I was a poor man then because I only knew of one type of short, and that was a short that went down to your knee. So I guess I'm just that sort of person.
I mean, look, I prefer shorts that go below my knee as well, but
For the 100th time, I am so sorry. Weiss apologized once more, her usually pristine complexion creased with worry. For the 100th time, it wasn't your fault, Blake assured with a warm smile. It couldn't be helped. And at least Gamble wasn't too damaged by the reaction Ruby mused from her position, her trained eye running over the slightly warped weapon in her hands.
Not too damaged. It is literally a blade.
Yeah.
It can't get much more damaged without being completely destroyed, y'all.
Nothing that can't be fixed at the school floors once we get back. Also, the blade was overheating, which means it was cherry red at minimum. So it was prone to warping, which would make any blade completely useless. That's why there's a specific forging process, and that's why you don't heat up the blade again after you've finished forging it. I mean, I guess you could if you did some lacquered coat and.
Look, it's a bad idea all around.
Unless you're a master smith, it's a pretty dumb idea to do.
Even if you're a master smith, it's still a pretty dumb idea.
Anyway, if we were going to get extra credit for that, I'm going to be disappointed. Weiss, a two-headed snake, literally crushed a bakery, Yang replied while deadpanning at her teammates. I wouldn't count on it. Oh man, that Yang, she just Tsukiyomi'd.
What?
It's a term in Japanese light novels and shit where the main character's like,
It's Tsukomi. It's playing the straight man in a comedy duo.
yeah.
Ah.
Like literally
Except-
right here what Yang just did.
Yeah.
We just had a bakery get crushed by a giant snake. I don't think we're gonna get the extra credit. And it's just like,
I don't know why they didn't just say keeping a straight face, because this has nothing to do with Japan.
well, no, I added that in, but what it says here is Yang replied while deadpanning at her teammates. Like
Okay.
that doesn't that large extra bit isn't needed. It's just Yang replied. It's like no shit. It's a deadpan at this point. It's like, how else would she be saying this statement? You know, excitedly. You know. It says you're an all-night stream. You're gonna follow through with that, or is that just an error? What the fuck?
Sneaky, what did you do?
I have an extension on my stream that says when the timers go. No, Isley, actually it only, it only says here that I start at 7 p.m., not that I'm going from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Yeah,
Besides, I have finals. There's no way an all-night stream's happening with me.
all it says here is stream start times. There's no stream end times. This is just when the stream starts. I apologize if you were confused by that, but yeah, you minorly misread that. Anyway, let's continue on. We did it! We did it! I mean, we didn't solve everything. A lot of people were hurt, and we still don't even know why they did this or who the mystery girl was. Why did these terrorists bomb the city? I don't know. Maybe because they're terrorists and they want to spread terror?
Oh no! The bank robbers robbed the bank! Why would they do this, Max?
I got nothing. It's a mystery.
But there has to be a reason. What could have motivated them to perform such a cruel, senseless act?
Yeah, it's just like, guys, maybe the terrorists did it to spread terrorism in the name of their political ideology.
That's not it. That's crazy.
You smoking that reefer again?
Also, I love how we didn't solve everything. Here's a list of things we didn't solve. People were hurt. What's the solution there? Kill them?
Yes, kill the weak, cull the herd.
Who was the mystery girl? The mystery girl was Neo. God damn it, Isley. But no, it's like, who was the mystery girl? I don't know. Maybe a member of the terrorists? Considering she was aiding the terrorists in their terrorism?
Clearly, she just needs a hug.
Also, they most certainly know who the mystery girl is. She showed up to save Roman earlier. It's... Jesus fucking Christ, author. Blake nodded in acknowledgement, but replied simply. We might not have all the answers, but we do have a lot of dangerous people behind bars. They're all dead!
Yeah, there's not a lot of, like...
Literally,
I guess,
the only person to survive that was Neo and Roman.
Yeah,
they-
no, there might have been maybe 3 White Fang members that might have survived that. Maybe.
Like, literally every White Fang member they beat up on their way through the train eventually were left in cars that were dropped off of the train and then exploded and left to dead for grim if they survived that.
Yeah, guys. Oh, Max. That's another thing we could do when we teach them about collateral damage.
Oh god.
We did it! We saved the day!
How
and
not
you
to murder
killed
prisoners
hundreds of
101.
people! Clearly, the best way to tell the girl was with the terrorist is by checking to see if she had been. Oh my god, damn it.
Oh no.
Max. I don't know why I said Max. Isley, no. Max, ban him. That's what my thought process was.
Why is Max taking the fall for this?
Because I asked him to.
Yeah! Ruby quipped!
I could time out the user,
That's not a quip!
or I could give them a gift
We'll let him off with a
subscription.
verbal warning this time, but seriously, no. None of that.
That's actually really cool though. Just gift subscription. That's okay.
Her
Good on you,
usual
Twitch, for
cheer
having
coming
something that
back
should be-
at
Oh, yeah.
Blake's observation.
Wait, how can you gift a subscription? I thought you had to be subscribed to gift a subscription.
No. And if anyone tries something like this again, we'll be there to stop them.
No, you won't.
No, you literally won't.
The only reason you were there to stop them this time was because you happened to be there when they launched the bomb.
Yay, teamwork, camaraderie, good guys, go team, alright, good job. Yang yawned, raising a half-spirited fist in the air. She then turned to Blake, however, looking over her partner as she recalled the terrible and rather compromising state the Faunus girl had emerged from the pavilion. Yet, despite the fairly degenerated condition of her combat gear and the dried blood she was sure she'd seen on them, the blonde brawler noted that Blake didn't seem any worse for the wear. Just a little tired at most. Heh, shorts and a hoodie? I can tell guys pick that outfit. Fuck you.
I mean, I've known lots of girls that wore shorts and hoodies. Also, she's wearing basketball shorts. Like, regardless of how short they are, they're still very long. And, like, have you ever seen basketball shorts? They are the saggiest shorts around.
Yang commented with a tired chuckle, earning a similar one from her partner before gaining a more solemn tone. Are you sure you're okay? I'd say so, the Ravenette replied nonchalantly, leaning back on both arms and casting the brawler an idle smirk. Leora's feeling a bit off, though. Semicolon in a dialogue. Nothing that some rest shouldn't be able to take care of. Weiss, who was currently eavesdropping as politely as possible, drawls aloud to fish for the team's next move. So then... time for bed? Ruby suggested unsurely.
Where is this going? Because I can think of several directions, and I dislike most of them.
Why should you not use a semicolon in dialogue? Because have you ever talked like a semicolon was in your dialogue? No, you haven't, because they aren't.
And if you have, then you, like William Shatner, is in awe of you.
Please, absolutely, yes. And with the final word before the team got back to campus, Yang half sighed and half declared, "Ah! I'm gonna sleep forever." Not that Blake would argue. She certainly felt like she could do the same. Of course, she didn't expect how quickly she fell asleep, hoodie and all, as soon as her head hit the pillow. But that'd be one more thing in this roller coaster of a day that could be written off with a good night's rest. After that, things would go back to normal. Chrysanthemum's just sitting here eating popcorn, apparently. Whap! Blake. Whap! Blake. Whap! Blake. Whap! The faunus girl tightly wrapped herself in her blanket and buried her head under her pillow with an annoyed grunt as yet another pillow landed on her.
How many pillows you got?
How do you have
They
this
have,
many
like, 3.
pillows? She mumbled. Sorry. How do you have this many? Sorry. This many pillows!
You okay there, boy?
She mumbled it. From underneath her full-body plush fortress. I couldn't hear that, Blakey! Yang continued as she read another cottony projectile from her bunk above. Don't you overheat at
So
night?
I thought you said cockney projectile, and I was like, what?
She's gonna throw a British person! Watch out! He has a spoon!
Oh, for fuck's sake, Sneaky.
Oh my god.
If the British don't want to be made fun of, maybe they shouldn't make it so easy. Don't you overheat or something with all those pillows? Blake hedged from her position, lifting her head from under her pillow just enough to level a burning glare from a single eye at the brawler in hopes
Hey,
of stopping
burning
her in her
glare. That's better than
tracks.
burning legion.
But Yang is fire! As if a burning glare would work. Apparently, Yang's
no.
a fire elemental.
Interesting.
Indeed. Who says they're mine? She replied teasingly, completely ignoring the fact that adverbs are a terrible way to write dialogue.
What? No, they aren't.
Ignoring the stare that could turn lesser person to stone. I stole these from Weiss. Blake broke her futile glare to cast a glance at the ice harass on the bed across her. Unfortunately, the shivering in her sleep with lack of pillowy insulation, while Ruby remained in deep slumber above. Well, that was rude. Nah. Anyway, I need you to help me with something. You mind? Ping! What in the... Blake yelped at herself at the sudden foreign sound caused her to jump up from her bed and land on the floor upright, as cats do.
As cats do.
I'm pretty sure that's racist.
That's very racist.
I've redeemed myself from my earlier bugger up. Your stream says you're playing Deadfire. Have you refreshed the stream? Because we fixed that issue an hour ago.
We fixed it at the top of the hour when I pointed it out to him.
Yeah, like I said, an hour ago. There we go! Now that's the spirit! Yang called from the top of their bunk with a wide grin, putting the pillow she was holding at the ready down by her side where she lay. Jesus fucking Christ, talk about word fucking salad. Did you hear that? A now wide awake Blake. was asked the brawler who merely cockeyed her head to the side at her partner's unusual behavior. Blake was many things. No,
What?
didn't actually say that. Blake
Yeah,
was many
I know.
things, and several of those things weren't the best in the world. I mean, terrorism, so yes. But she was pretty sure paranoid schizophrenic wasn't one of them. I mean, you're an ex-terrorist who is on the run from the leader of your terrorism group who is actively hunting you specifically.
Also, you're very bad at it because you thought a bow would hide cat ears.
So yes, you are a paranoid schizophrenic, or at least you should be.
Not to mention, you're bad at your job.
You guys have to say that to Blake now. You know, you're a pretty bad terrorist.
Max, you're a pretty bad terrorist, Blake. Let us show you how it's done.
Oh, Atin. That's it. We volunteered to go help Port or Oobleck on the mission with Team Ruby.
No, I know what
Proceed
you're
to-
saying. No. Yes,
Sure.
but no.
Come on. I'm sure the White Fang wouldn't mind being terrorized for once.
Oh, now that was
Max,
a perfect
Max.
moment.
Do you realize how badly that would mess up the story? Like, it'd be like, all right, we have to throw like the entire arc out now. Which, if you really want to do that, I'm okay with that. But that's a lot of work, my dude.
Not any more than I've already set for myself with what our current chapter is doing.
All right.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Like, what was it we said? We don't want to touch the mission because we can't do anything.
I mean,
No,
that
I mean,
depends
no,
on
see,
how-
no,
on how
clearly
many
the best
explosives you
scene
can
for that
apply.
mission would be Roman gloating towards them, and then you two just walking out from the train and going, "See, Blake, you're a really bad terrorist. This is how you sabotage a train." Click, boom.
Huh. I guess we found the explosives, Max.
I guess we found what that button does. Hey, you're right.
We're stealing that scene now.
Good.
We're not doing shit with that.
Oh, yes, we are. We are absolutely putting that in there because it's glorious.
Oh god.
Anyway, I just got a email ping of a reviewer who is disgruntled at the rest of my reviewers. Because the rest of my reviewers, the rest of my reviewers are complaining about how I'm obviously adding cucking to my story and how that's a shit trope and all this shit. And I'm just like, what I didn't? And then that's what this reviewer is going. He's like, am I reading the same story as the rest of your reviewers? Because I am not getting that. I'm not getting what they're getting.
I guess on a technicality, Naruto has been cuckolded, but it's not like actively being written.
Well, I mean, not only is he not being written, he hadn't started a relationship with them yet. It was going to be later found out once night stand scenarios. So there was no relationship previously there. They're not making him watch, which is a key part of cuckolding.
Ah, okay.
You know,
I don't know, because like the only thing I see in that story currently is whenever you post like reviews as shit posts.
Yeah.
the reviews for that story,
The
reviews
of the story do
They
not
are
reflect
right.
the story.
I got people talking about harems and shit. I'm just sitting here like, what fucking story did you read?
Just like, I saw the one where it's like Naruto will have his day, and I'm like,
Naruto should kill everyone because they don't appreciate him. I'm fucking, excuse me?
oh, well, hang on now. Oh, okay. Sneaky. Your fans scare me.
Okay,
Like-
Max. Max, we don't have a lot of room to talk with the crowd we're attracting.
Yeah, apparently you're attracting the sadism crowd who love to see Ruby tortured.
And in my defense, I forgot that a good portion of the Ruby community likes to write them as woobies, where they go out of their way to hurt them. So that was not my intent.
Well,
And we're only attracting like 3 out of the
Yes.
40 plus that you have. Statistically, you're going to get more because it's an arts section, but still.
anyway, yesterday left me sore. I left the aromatherapy cream stuff in the bathroom. Could you be the bestest partner ever and get that for me? I'm sorry, was Yang supposed to say this?
I think.
Maybe.
And then it happened. Whoosh! A quest has been created. Yeah! Blake yelped, jumping back as a pale blue window suddenly popped up in front of her, and she's hissing again. Drawled Yang as the feline faunus began doing just that at something Yang couldn't see. What on Monty's remnant is this?
I'm not going to go off on it because I've already gone off on it a million times.
Blake couldn't help thinking as a small continue arrow began blinking on the bottom right of the window. But with little other recourse, after rubbing her eyes, blinking a few times, and willing the hallucination to go away to no avail, Blake hesitantly tapped on the arrow. Quest alert! The gamer's partner wants muscle relaxing ointment to use for soreness. Bring her the ointment she wants quickly! Time limit 1 minute. Completion award 500 XP and peace and quiet. Completion failure. Partner nagging. Pillow to the face. Accept yes or no. This is outlandish. Blake, you're going cross-eyed. Yang commented from her bunk, now trying to analyze her partner's increasingly strange demeanor. I'm fine. A very confused cat girl replied, blinking at the window a final time, before slowly turning her head to her partner and giving her the most reassuring smirk she could muster at the moment. I'll go get you that ointment. And unable to turn without the window reappearing in front of her again, Blake huffed and tapped the yes option in midair. I really don't see myself getting used to this. Making her way over to the bathroom, unwittingly stomping as she tended to do when in deep thought, Blake entered the large white tiled room and found the ointment in question, picking it up in her hand. Ping! You gotta be kidding me. Sure enough, another pale blue window materialized out of thin air. You have obtained the quest item, ointment. Ah! I tripped. I'm okay though. I keep forgetting that's there. Anyway. I don't need this notification every time, the increasingly irked girl thought to herself as she tapped the little X on the top right corner of the window, casting it back into non-existence. Why is this even happening to me? And in the final twist of knife or fate of irony, Blake looked up and quite audibly gasped at what she saw in the mirror.
Excuse me, a final twist of the knife of fate and irony.
Yes.
Author.
Yes,
think
you
that
have
means
been
what you
missing
think
things,
it
Isley, but not reading the reviews of my story. What is that on my head? Blake squeaked uncharacteristically, eyes wide as the words floating above her. Bo, she waved her hand through them with no discernible resistance, the words merely hanging there like a neon sign. A level? The gamer? What does that even mean? I mean, look, I can understand people not knowing, like, in-depth details of video games like DPS and CD and, you know, AoE and shit like that. Understandable. Even my mom, who thinks you can pause the internet mid-game, knows what a fucking level is. And she recognized LV as level. You know? Like, she recognizes the abbreviation, goes, the gamer, a level, what does this mean? That means you're level 11? Yeah.
Well, I mean, now it means she's level 12.
Yeah. Anyway, a harrowing hypothesis began to form in her mind as she looked down at her flawless, creamy white legs. I don't know about you guys, but I've never looked down at my legs and then proceeded to think in detail how to describe them.
No. No, never done that.
Slowly. Okay, Belladonna. Easy now. Blake mumbled to herself as she closed her eyes and focused her aura in an exercise she had performed countless times. Easy as can be. And leaning back to the tipping point, Blake focused on creating a shadow clone with her semblance to catch her and push her back upright, only to meet the floor on her backside with a resounding thud. Ow. Oh, Blake! Blake's ears twitched at the sound of her partner's voice through the bathroom door. Request, favor, coming back to mind. Coming! The cat-eared girl rushed into the room, handing the brawler her requested item. Ping. Okay, A. This chunk should have taken more than a minute. Look, I get up every morning and I portion out my time going, okay, I need this long to do X thing, and I'm almost always wrong about that. Because I think, oh wow, putting on my clothes shouldn't take too long to go to work. Oh, it takes way longer than I normally think it does. Because turns out, time is actually used quite quickly when you're not actively paying attention to the number. And you staring there and going, whoa, what's going on? I have to think about this. That doesn't, that takes, that'll be, no, that's not a minute. Anyone else backing me up here?
I mean, you've hit the nail on the head. Like, way more than a minute's gone by.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, ping, gained 500 experience, your level went up by 1. Alright, Blake, what's going on? You've been acting strange, reading an invisible book. I'm pretty sure you're poking the air. She could only gape at her inquisitive companion. Don't tell me, and I wake Weiss and tell her you stole her pillows during your episode, and she's a much better interrogator than I am. The cat girl quickly went through her options. Who in this room could possibly understand her situation? Somehow, the shadow semblance.
I agree with you. That would be tricky to say quickly.
She had come to learn and love had been replaced with this abomination of a semblance, leaving her as nothing more than some kind of video game character. What was that? Yang questioned expectantly, all measure of her teasing attitude long gone. I didn't quite catch that. Okay. Okay, really. Alright, so that's the explanation we're going with. Apparently injecting every flavor of dust into yourself and then crashing into a video game store is how you become a video game character.
Boy, it's a good thing she didn't crash into, like, a nuclear power plant.
Alright, I can solidly say this fic gets a high rating on, not utter garbage. But their grammar's trash, their plot is trash, the characters are not the characters, and the extremely contrived situation in which Blake somehow has her semblance converted into the gamer is incredibly dumb, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do that. Oh wow, I got exploded into a video game store. Now I have video game powers. Is probably not the way you want to go with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're gonna move on because we're only halfway through this story and I already want to kill someone.
Oh wow, we really are only halfway. I thought we were 3/4. Holy
Let's
cow.
go with
Oh god, that is a big chapter.
Star
Yeah.
Wars StarCraft crossover. That's about as far away from Ruby as we can get. Oh wow, that was a quick chapter. Moving on.
I'm sorry, what's Sneaky?
Is it an author's note chapter again?
Yeah.
Oh,
This
come
is
on,
completely
let's just
unrelated
go
to
to
the current
chapter
topic,
2.
and I have a question for you related to that. Do you have any tips for describing a character as attractive without sounding like a young adult novel? Chrysanthemum replies with, focus on the personality traits as opposed to their physical description. You can imply the personality through description of physical actions, and we even have enough raw physical description to give the reader a basic picture of how the character looks if you're careful about it. Basically make every word matter like poetry. I suppose that's part of the problem. I'm the physical traits point of view. Hates the character being described. Okay, so we've covered this before, but I'll sit down and cover it again. So there's a lot of ways to describe.
Oh, here we go. It's time for story time with Sneaky.
It's time to get learned, boy.
Please don't.
All right. Anyway, as I was saying, there's a lot of ways to go about getting your character described. If you want to describe a certain character and you already have point of view hopping in the story, it's entirely normal for a character to be like, they were on the lookout for X character. Oh, there he is. His insert article of clothing here is quite distinctive, letting him easily pick him out from the crowd. Or insert physical trait here. Oh wow, his 6'8" height made him quite easy to pick out from the crowd. His blonde hair especially helps with that. Well, because everyone else was typically red or brown. You know, like, it set up scenarios in which a normal person would be commenting on it. They're getting ready for something special in the mirror. Oh, it's my first day of school. I want to look my best. Checking their clothing out for creases and wrinkles and dust. Or, you know, something like, it's my first day at work. Fucking hell. I mean, if you want to describe a face of a character, depending on the era they're in, it's entirely feasible to have them, like, check themselves out in a car mirror to be like, did I get all the fucking whiskers? You know, like, there's a lot of ways you can describe a character without just sitting down and being like, they are 6'7", and they are wearing a black jacket with black combat boots and have a blade that transforms into a cannon. But, you know what I mean? Anything you want to add there, Max?
Not really. Like,
Not particularly.
Is there
Yeah.
any particular scenario you want us to help with in terms of why a character would be looking at the physical descriptions of someone?
Yeah, like, I mean, like, it depends on the situation itself. There's a lot of different ways to handle it.
Yeah.
And that's the big problem. Like, I've seen a handful of times where someone can give just a raw physical description and it come off well. And that was it was done police report style.
Yeah.
Like they were looking
I've
through
done that
a
before.
report.
Yeah,
And
I've
it
done
just
that
listed
before.
off. Yeah.
But I mean that works in very specific circumstances, though.
Yeah.
Specifically when the police But yeah, no, get back to us, Isley, if you want specific help with a specific scenario. Otherwise, until then, they spelled zealot wrong.
I'm sorry. What now?
They spelled zealot wrong.
How did
The
they
full
spell it?
summary of okay, so this story is called "The Craft Among the Stars."
My God.
The full summary of this story is when 13 teenagers from a class found themselves on the foreign planet of Naboo just before the droid invasion, but they soon realized they can summon units from StarCraft into the surrounding. How will they
Sneaky.
change the course of war? Will they save the darkness will they save the darkness? Or will they be the darkness? What happens when a Zeolet meets a Jedi? What happens when a Marine meets a clone trooper? I mean, okay. Who will win, a battlecruiser or a destroyer? Read the story to find out.
Well, I can tell you exactly what would happen. Zealot loses to Jedi. The end. Marine and Clone Trooper, probably pretty evenly matched. Battlecruiser versus Star Destroyer, I'm really sorry. I love Battlecruiser. Battlecruiser loses.
Updates are too long, aka 2,000 word chapters, and an unknown number of short, aka 1,000 word chapters every Saturday. Long, 2,000 words. Okay, buddy.
2,000. Boy, that's... Is that even a page?
That's like a page, maybe 2 to 3.
That's about a page and a half, depending on how he's doing spacing, and that's depending on how often he's actually breaking paragraphs up. This had better be a new writer, because like 1,500 to 2,000 for a brand new writer is actually a good pace with your first story.
Yeah.
But yeah, boy, I didn't really have high hopes for this before, but the fact that they fucked up the spelling in Zealot.
I'm glad I picked out this story because this is a good laugh that we needed before we finish with the day.
All right, come on, let's see.
So Isley says in this case it's Taylor comparing herself to Sophia and finding herself lacking. That's very out of character for Taylor. I.e., she sees how confident she looks in her own skin compared to Taylor. I could copy pasta the paragraph in question, but I'm not sure how that would translate into the chat. Poorly.
Yeah, I mean, you can go ahead and slap it in the writing corner.
Yeah, slap it in the writing corner if you're not already pinged as a writer. If you aren't a writer yet, we'll add you to the section. Chrysanthemum says, latch onto the jealousy, using it as a focus for specific insecurities that Taylor has comparatively to Sophia. Yeah, that's actually about the same advice that we would give. You won't be getting, full body descriptions, but then again, if you're reading Worm, you should know what Taylor looks like by now. Writing corner would be on Discord, yeah. Yeah, you can find it in the panels down below, kids, if you ever want to join us. Behold this again, yes, thank you. I believe Isley is here somewhere. I guess not. Okay. Alright, let's get into it before Max crinkles up this podcast. Who are you? Cassidy asked as she clutched her injured right arm. I'm glad we're getting right off into introducing the OCs. A shattered dagger was on the
Also,
ground
this
beside
is
her.
nothing. Okay, this person is saying 2,000 words is long.
Yeah.
Which, okay, let's say they're a first-time writer, and this is long for them. A first-time writer taking on 13 characters minimum. If they ignore everyone else and just focus on their 13 OCs,
That's still
I would
twice
have
the
no
recommended cast. Recommended cast for pretty much any story that wants to be successful is around 6 at max.
Yeah.
You can't get to the writing tab until we give you the writer role. So ping one of us.
I'll get on it.
Yeah, boy.
Although we do need to know which one you are.
I believe he is Jam. I'm gonna rename him to Isley.
Man, this is not specifically Isley. Really, real classy there, Sneaky. This is not Isley specifically, but like just people in general. Like, don't have multiple online handles. Keep it simple. Use a universal one.
Or I mean, as close to universal as possible.
Like,
I mean, 'cause, you know, I can't use Sneaky Devil in certain places because someone's already taken it, so I just use True Sneaky Devil.
Yeah.
on dang near every platform, I am Atin. And if I can't be Atin, it's like Atin 33 or something like that.
Or Mandalore 2000.
Yes. Yes. That was before. That was actually before I started using Atin as a handle. So
It was a troubled time.
He had identity problems.
yes, I wanted to be a Mandalorian. No, it was like, oh well, I like Mandalorians. I'll use that for an online handle.
I'm 10.
Yeah. By the way, this title,
Yeah.
I don't know why,
Prequel?
but I thought
you
it
guys
was
ready
going
for
to be
the
a
prequel?
Minecraft StarCraft
Yeah, I know, right?
crossover
Yeah.
for some reason.
Yeah. You would think that. And well, I mean, it sort of is still because they're still building shit, and it's going to be horribly overpowered.
Yeah, but I'm just really entertained by the idea of them trying to invade Minecraftia, and there's just this asshole named Steve with really weird proportions stopping them.
Indeed.
Like, we built more pylons. Where are the pylons? We just have to. He's walking away with our pylons.
Well, no, it actually, based on the way it would work, the pylon would be composed of a bunch of different blocks. So all he'd have to do is punch out.
I
one
already
block
gave you
from
the writer
pylon.
roll.
Yeah. But Atten, he would take all of them because it's shiny.
Oh yeah.
Like, this
I mean,
is.
here's the thing: if we go by stupid Minecraft logic, pylons would be made out of diamond and gold.
Yeah.
Oh, he'd take that shit in an instant. I would be really entertained by that.
Anyway, I would like to point out that I have no idea what's going on in this story. I don't have much time, so listen carefully. A figure before her said. It's a figure.
I don't have time to explain why I don't have time to explain. Get out, Bungie. Just get the fuck out.
It's a figure, not a person, because it's not a person. It's a tall creature with gray skin. It had no mouth, but somehow he's able to talk. He had no nose either, but he did have dull eyes. They had a pair of holes that shine blue light. The darkness have destroyed our planet and slaughtered our people. You are last hope of survival. I am not your king! Cassidy smirked despite her situation as a captive. You are a monster, and I am a human being! Plus, I don't understand a word you're saying, she stuttered. Not now, the figure walked up to Cassidy. The girl tried to move, but figure stretched out and grabbed her by the neck. She kicked the figure several times with all her strength.
English?
I mean,
Even if they didn't, they're communicating psychically?
Yeah, they communicate with your brain's language center, so you kind of always know what they're saying.
Even if you don't want to.
That's horrifying, really.
Jake, I see you, fap! I was hoping that you would get that reference.
No, I
Dark
don't.
Templar. The book series.
Oh, was that in book 2?
The Protoss in her head, and he's just like, wait, do you have access to all my memories? And she's just like, yes.
Oh yeah, yes, that part. Wait, you see everything? Everything.
That's
God,
horrifying.
that was such a great book series. Holy
I
shit.
still need book freaking 2.
Oh god, that was such a good book series. The figure walked up to Cassidy. It was blah 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 blah. But you will be very soon. The figure took out a strange-looking rock and put it on Cassidy's head.
First of all, on Cassidy. One word.
The rock shined and melted into Cassidy's forehead, leaving a yellow symbol there. The
Hold
girl.
on, hold, Sneaky, are we sure this isn't a StarCraft
Hold on, I know what you're gonna say, but let me do it. On the outside, the girl's body transformed. What's this? Cassidy's evolving!
That was not what I was gonna say, Sneaky. I was going with an Eldar Spirit Stone joke.
Oh! I was going with the Pokemon reference.
Yeah. Oh, see, we went 2 very different directions, but both are valid.
The girl fell on the ground as she clutched her head and screamed in pain. Inside her brain, the blue energy fanned out and changed the brain tissue, transforming the girl into something way more superior. Excuse me! I will have you know, Terran, best race.
I'm sorry, is someone trying to say that Terran is not the best race?
Yes, they are saying Terran is inferior race.
I have only one response to you. Why don't you walk about 50 yards out and stand still for me?
I'm a land farmer. Yeah, both are good references.
I love the quotes from that game.
On the outside, blah, blah, blah. Her hair started to grow and extend. She's fucking turning into a Pikachu. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I apologize.
That would probably make for a more interesting story than this.
Forming a long braid that hanged.
Well, apparently her braid was sentient until a moment ago.
Was this about was sentient until a moment ago?
The braid committed suicide.
Hanged is the word that you use when somebody has decided to hang themselves. That's the past tense of it. As opposed to hung, which is when you hang something up on a wall.
This would be hung.
Yeah, they should be hung, but instead it's hanged, so at some point her hair was alive.
Well, just be glad she isn't hung.
Sneaky. Sneaky, this is the internet. You can't roll that out yet.
Her muscles started to grow, and her bones grew way more stronger.
I got nothing. I'm sorry. I got nothing.
I don't... Jesus fucking Christ. The figure smiled. It doesn't have a mouth! At the sight of the human Protoss. There's a reason he chose this girl. Okay, so I complain about this quite often, and this is a thing you do not do in both colloquial and story English. You do not use apostrophe S unless you are speaking with dialogue. Or Southern. Or if you're Southern, I guess. Because theirs is either possessive, but it's not a noun, so it means is. There is a reason he chose this girl. I don't believe this Protoss is part of the Southern Baptist Church.
No, but he is now. and you're gonna have to write that terrible story.
Yaldav!
Sneaky, now all I can imagine is all the Tal'Darim being Southern Baptists.
No,
Real fire and
no, clearly.
The Tal'Darim are the
no,
real Southern, are the real fire
clearly,
and brimstone of
They
the Protoss.
are the West Baptist Church, dude. Obviously.
Do you mean Westboro?
Yes, Westboro Baptist Church. Obviously.
Oh god, no.
No one likes them. They show up every time they're not wanted. And they have a kooky take on the religion. Like, come on, man.
No, I'm not. I didn't say you were wrong.
And we lost 4 people from that. Apparently, Southern Protoss is a mood killer.
Oh well.
Even critically injured, he is still a powerful Protoss Templar.
Did they seriously spell out Templar?
Yes, they did.
Templar.
As Templar?
Templar. I don't even. Is that the plural of someone who builds temple? Someone.
It's when you temple really hard.
So.
I hate you.
And with his
It's either Simpson
powerful
or Solomon.
psi energy, he discovered something interesting about this girl. The girl had been extremely logical and showed incredible self-control. Also, she had some experience in dealing pain in combat. Even when he just appeared, the girl attacked him lethally. If he wasn't having his shield up, and if girl had something better than a dagger, he'd be wounded and possibly killed. She's good. Furthermore, she is in the group that would be known as Hope of Mankind. In the darkness, no one stood a chance. The Protoss didn't deserve to lose Terran, and the entire crew Pluto sector fell within days. The Terrans always had a backup plan, and that's why we're superior. Because we have backup plans to our backup plans, because inevitably all the plans fail, and we default to, fuck it, shoot it, and run.
No, Sneaky. Let's be real. The default plan always comes down to Ghost put a laser pointer over here.
Nuke it and run.
Yo, that is the second. That's like one of the scariest phrases to ever come out of a video game. Because when you start playing, you have no control. You don't know what to do. You just hear nuclear launch detected. You're like, ah, there goes 200 supply.
I mean, yeah.
Alright then.
I've actually done that
And sadly,
before.
because it's not Warcraft, you don't even get the benefit of going back to low upkeep.
Anyway, blah blah blah, background plan, blah blah blah, discover the way for Terra to survive. Jesus Christ.
Problem?
But those Terran always had a backup plan. After the combined work of hundreds of best Terran scientists, they discovered the way for Terra to survive in alternated way. All of the people in their universe are doomed, yes, but if they can smuggle a base into another world, then the man who owned the base would be the Terran commanders would be able to revive Terra in another universe, as the command center held thousands of conscious who would allow the cloning of the deceased. In other words, Terra would be transported to another world, a world where there is no apocalypse. The Protoss soon realized the project as thousands of oracles searched the timeline for the last hope of the Kala. And that's why the Templar is here.
You're writing this crossover. You are presumably a fan of both Star Wars and StarCraft, and if you're only a fan of one, you've at least encountered enough of the other that it is interesting to you. You couldn't even Google search this, and not even that. Unless they are literally writing this in Notepad, there's no excuse for that. Templar, Zealot. Like, do you think that little red line means you're doing something good? Jeez.
It's just, oh god, fucking Christ. It's just... The rock that he put into her head contained a dimensional door to a Protoss base that existed inside a half dimension. By mending the rock into the girl, the Templar gave the girl away to a base that is completely safe. With enough resources and the use of consciousness storage and construction, an army can be railed in a short amount of time. And by giving the girl a psionic link, he gave the girl a permanent control of the base and the army that will be created. This is not the best way, but it's the only way. The Protoss looked at his arm. It's starting to disappear into thin air. He knows what will happen if he stays any longer. He turned around and transformed into a group of blue particles. This short paragraph doesn't count as one of the 2 paragraphs I update every week.
Yeah, what? This isn't even his first story. First story dates back to May of 2017.
Yes, he's saying he adds a paragraph of 2,000 words every week, Isley. He's only been at it for a year. Like, okay. Look, I realize whatever this person's age might be, and the likelihood that they are, like, genuinely fairly young based on their username.
It's pretty high.
This is just so cringy. The infinite dimension, the fist to stars. Completed. Oh god. They joined in March 2017.
Come on, man.
Oh god. But anyway, so as I was saying, like, I get they might be young, but that's no excuse. On fanfiction.net, that's actually no excuse, because part of the agreement to posting stories is that to the very best of your ability, and using all the resources at your disposal, you have spell-checked, grammar-checked, and fact-checked your work. So the nonsense we just read is actually a reportable offense.
We're not going to bother because nothing ever comes of it.
Nothing ever comes of it, but it's
But
just
our
like,
point being,
if I click on the report button, I can actually report this story for an actual reason. Like, not just like saying, oh, it's porn, and then because of, just get it, reported for that. It's like, no, like, I can actually pull this report button up, and I can go poor grammar and genuinely report the story for this. I don't.
Not just poor grammar,
care.
but come on, like you couldn't spell like important stuff for your story correctly.
See, Chrysanthemum, the difference between you and this fellow here is you know how to write in the English language. This person doesn't. And it's something I say so often now. Read a book. If the shit you just put out on a page doesn't look remotely similar to the shit you see in a book, maybe you should rethink it. And look, there's plenty of shit books out there, but at least they get the fucking spelling and grammar correctly. Correct? I'm a bit more drunk than I thought. Anyway, point being, what the fuck is this shit? This is beyond the garbage we normally deal with. You're a fan of shit that you're spelling the names wrong of.
And like I said, even if they're a fan of Star Wars and not StarCraft, a 4-second Google search.
That's kind of like I
like,
said.
Like, unless you're like, I don't know, I'll say 10 or younger, you cannot possibly think that is the correct way to spell these things. And even if you do, spell check should be telling you that you're stupid.
Yeah. Literally, the only thing out there that does not have a spell check function to it is the fanfiction.net word system, which, why are you using that? Or Notepad, why are you using that? There is so many other free, great writing tools out there. Google Docs is fairly good. Sometimes it gets things right, sometimes it gets things wrong, but it has internet as a database.
But you know what it won't be
checking.
getting wrong? Templar.
Yeah. Like, the good thing about Google Docs in terms of its spell checking is that it knows anime terms. It knows, like, game words and shit like that because it uses Google itself as a database. And Word doesn't. Word has, okay, well, this is a weird word. It's like, yeah, well, that's a word for my game word. That's not incorrect. But, you know, like, there's other programs out there, like Scrib or whatever it's called. That's good. I'm pretty sure free as well.
Like, and hell, if you don't want to use
Script
any, if you want an
premium
offline thing
version.
that's not, that you're like, oh, it's not, it won't harvest my data. Fuck's sake, Open Office,
Yeah.
LibreOffice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All of these are free, and they look.
LibreOffice is great.
LibreOffice is fantastic. It looks almost exactly like Word, but it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. In fact, it costs you nothing. It's free and open source.
Or, like, fucking Christ, free version of Grammarly. They have a word processor on their website that actively has a massive database, specifically, as I found a function for, specifically for creative fiction writing. Like, there's an actual separate database from the basic grammar check that checks against how creative fictional stories are written. So, that's free. That's part of the free. Not an ad, could be an ad. Anyway.
Many of the things on this show are not an ad, but they could be.
They could be. Yeah, so that was a garbage heap of a story that actually got me, like, actually genuinely mad. I'm now overheating.
Well, luckily for you, it's 7:55, so.
Yeah, luckily for me indeed. So is there anything we want to talk about to close out the show today?
I mean, we pretty much talked about it. Don't do this.
Anything else? No, moving on past that.
Well,
so, reflecting back on the two stories we read today, is there anything else you want to say?
This author here, he's probably young, he's probably new to this. I wish that I had known about the beta reading services on fanfiction when I first started writing.
Fair enough.
Because here's the thing. I wrote as poorly as that when I first started. I had better grammar because English language arts was just
Like, don't get me wrong.
language arts was like the dump stat for me apparently when I was born.
Yeah, like,
Well,
like
no,
don't
Max,
get me wrong.
Max,
I'm-
Max, a dump stat is the stat that you ignore.
Yeah, okay.
So like
I
he's
got
talking
to
about
ignore it.
better
I've
grammar.
not had to learn anything for it.
no, he's talking about in a way that using the term wrong because dump stat usually implies strength, dexterity, charisma, intelligence, wisdom.
Well, no, and it implies the stat that you put your lowest one into because it's not relevant for your class. So, like a wizard putting their 8 in strength because they don't need strength. That's a dump stat.
But anyway, that's besides the point.
But
I
like, I wish I'd gone to a beta reader so I'd have someone to bounce my ideas off of. Because that's the thing. When you set up a beta reading profile, you can tell them, I will handle grammar. You can bounce ideas off me, so on and so forth. And you can search for them based on what you're looking for specifically,
exactly.
down to what genres they are best at.
Honestly, I think that needs to be more promoted on Fanfiction's website in terms of like when they, like in your managed stories section, maybe they should add a button to find a beta reader for your story. Something like that, because it's on there. It's sort of like it's in the same section as the forums and beta reading. I'm clicking on fanfiction.net for fanfiction. I don't care about the rest of the tabs on this page. And so you never actually read the rest of the tabs and realize it's got a beta reader section, it's got a forums section, it's got an original story section. Boy, I wish a lot of the people we cover on here would use the original story section.
Because you know what? Some of them would even be absolutely worth reading.
Except instead you decided to bastardize the characters so you could get more views. But, honestly, I won't fault people for having poor characterization if they're early on writing. I mean, there's plenty of published books out there that are just absolutely garbage when it comes to characters and character development. But the problem there is as well is that in certain stories the characters are quite well and thoroughly developed and very, very specific in terms of how they act and what they say and etc. And if you get those characters wrong, then I will come at you for them. Because you basically have Ruby, for example, you go on the fucking Wikipedia, and then for the main cast at least, for the main 2 teams at least, the fucking personalities page is like 10 paragraphs long. It's not like we're fucking Dark Souls here. It's not like all we have to go on their personalities is by 10 lines of dialogue that they say.
And if you're lucky, 2 item descriptions.
Yeah, if you're lucky, some item descriptions. Yeah, it's just like I can understand poor character development because that comes with experience. But if you can't even get the personalities of the characters that are clearly defined in a story or game or movie or etc. that you are supposedly a fan of, hence why you're writing fan fiction, right? What the fuck are you doing? And that's where I'm going to end it tonight. Good night, everyone. Remember, there's always more, and it always gets worse.